This week on Quadriga, immigration. Welcome to Germany. Thousands of immigrants are expected to head to Germany in the coming years. Faced with an aging population and a shortage of skilled workers, Germany's in need of them. Still, far too few talented foreigners are actually making the move. But with soaring unemployment across the EU, more and more qualified workers see a move to Germany as their last chance to find a job. Is Germany a land of opportunities? Your host this week, Ali Aslan.
Hello and welcome to Quadriga. Germany is Europe's most populous nation, as well as its economic engine. But is it also a land of opportunities for those immigrants wanting to live and work here? That's what we want to talk about on today's show, together with my three experts. Welcome to Ursula Weidenfeld, who works as a freelance journalist and columnist based in Berlin and Potsdam. Previously, she was a business correspondent for the Tagesspiegel and Financial Times Germany. Katarzyna Stoklosa is an associate professor for the Department of Border Region Studies at the University of Singapore in Denmark. She's an expert on European immigration. And Sausan Shebli is a German citizen of Palestinian origin. She's a political scientist and currently works as an advisor at Berlin's Interior Ministry. Welcome to you all. Ursula Weidenfeld, is Germany a land of opportunities for those immigrants wanting to live and work here?
Well, I think that Germany is becoming familiar with this role, and Germany has had problems for years, with the role of being an immigration country. But nowadays, with a shrinking population, and on the one hand, and on the other hand, with a labor market which is quite tight in terms of looking for skilled workers, Germany seems to become familiar with the role of an immigration country.
And indeed, Germany is facing some demographic challenges, which we will go in more detail later on. Katarzyna Stoklosa, you came to Germany at the age of 19. Was it difficult to adjust to life in Germany?
No, it wasn't. At that time, I came to Germany in 1991. A student. I started to study at European University Viadrina in Frankfurt Oder, and it was very open-minded, and we were students from all over the world, from many different European countries, from Western, Eastern, Central, Eastern European countries, from Northern America, from Southern America. So it was difficult, but it's always different when you analyze the situation of students and the situation of normal citizens. So as a student, it wasn't difficult.
Sausan Shebli, you are a German citizen of Palestinian origin. You were born in Germany, though. Have you ever felt not being part of this country?
Well,
emotionally speaking, anyway.
Yeah. Well, for 15 years, actually, we fought for the German citizenship. I mean, 15 years I was stateless, and then when we became German, I really wanted to be German. And wherever I had the opportunity to say I'm German, I said I was German. But sometimes I feel, yes, I am German. I'm different to Palestinians. When I go to Palestine, for example, I really feel that there is a difference. But sometimes you feel there is something in you that is different to real, pure German. Yeah, it's a very complicated issue.
It is a complicated issue indeed.
It's because you don't like beer, isn't it?
Well,
not the first test, I hope, of Germanship. But Ursula Weidenfeld, demographic challenges. This country is facing demographic challenges, even though it is the most populous nation right now with 82 million citizens. But there are reports who are saying that Germany's population will decline by at least 12 million by the year 2050.
Without immigration.
But without immigration.
We've had the last year, 2012, was the first year Germany's population in itself was shrinking, but it was growing in terms of the total population because of immigration. And I think that was one of the most important signals even to the German population to recognize that without strangers, without people who want to come to Germany to work here, to live here, to become probably citizens of Germany, Germany would shrink and just be not as successful, not only in terms of growth, but also in terms of being a lively society and things like that.
Katarzyna Stoklosa, Germany has a rapidly aging society combined with a relatively low birth rate. Is that typical for Europe? Or is that a German phenomenon?
It's typical for Europe now when we analyze and compare the situation 10 years ago. But it's especially a problem in Germany when we compare Germany with other European countries such as Northern European countries.
Italy too.
Yes.
You have it in
And Spain too.
In Poland, for example, has even a demographic problem
Yeah,
right now.
it's typical for countries where there's no policy of combining a job with a family. So when you analyze it and compare with northern countries, Scandinavian countries, it's not such a problem there because we have a combination of job and family private life. It's difficult in Germany, above all in western part of Germany. And it produces problem. And of course, because of the economic situation, this is why we have similar situation in France, in Spain, in Italy, or even in Poland.
I think France is growing, isn't it? France has something like the policy you just claimed to have. A country has to have. So France is growing.
Yeah, right. Because it's very common to have a family and to have a job. And nobody criticizes it. Something it's a part of daily life. And it isn't the case in Germany. And this is a problem, and this is why we have this situation.
And indeed, the situation substantially is, as Ursula Weidenfeld said, or Germany needs immigrants. In fact, people are saying 2 million skilled workers from abroad are needed in order for Germany to maintain its economic performance. Do you think that message has resonated already with German society?
You know, what you have to underline is that the German government, for the first time, openly speaks about it. I mean, we not only speaks about it, but implements measures and has like a great marketing campaign in order to recruit highly skilled professionals from abroad. I think that the political establishment does everything to recruit or to attract people from abroad. What the problem is that the majority of Germans still hasn't realized that they need these people, still hasn't realized that the economic value of these people, it's still seen as a burden, as a challenge in a negative sense. So there is a difference between the public establishment's approach to that and the majority's view on foreigners coming to Germany.
But is the political establishment indeed doing enough to attract qualified labor?
Well, I think that it should be more transparent to everybody who is welcome in Germany and who has probably more problems to become a German or to get a job in Germany or to be integrated in Germany. But I think that there's a big change in the last few years, even in the German population. If you look at immigration, because it is mainly European immigration we have, we don't call it immigration and we don't count people from Greece or from Spain or from Italy as immigrants. But if you look at the population growth, it is mainly the European movement moving to Germany, and that is quite easy, I think, even for normal Germans to become familiar with.
I'm a little bit more skeptical, and I agree with you. There's a big difference between politics, German politics, in the last 4 years, we have to say, and opinion of German population. And even in the German politics, politicians are not prepared. There are no really program for high-qualified immigrants. If you want to learn the German language, it's your problem and you have to organize and manage it. So when I compare it with the situation with other European countries, I have to say, no, Germany isn't prepared. And after that, when we see the opinion of Eastern German, Western German population, there's still a difference, but in Eastern part of Germany, immigrants aren't welcomed. And
I think it is very important to note what we are talking about. If you are talking about Europeans, Polish people, people from Southern Europe, I think there are no big problems in terms of being welcome, of being integrated, of being able to work everywhere they want to work. But if you talk about immigration from abroad, from Asia, from Africa, you might be right what the welcoming culture is in Eastern and Western Germany.
You don't seem to be too convinced, Katarzyna Soklosa.
I'm very critical. If you remember 2004, the enlargement of Schengen and the possibility that got Polish people to work in Germany. And the xenophobia in Germany. People afraid, politicians afraid.
Yes, but now when they have the right to move when they want and whenever they want, I think even normal Germans recognize that it is not a problem of mass immigration of Polish people, and that was very relieving for everybody, even for the trade unions, to recognize that there is only something like a normal movement to Germany and from Germany, and not something like a immigration wave, which is a problem to integrate all the
Well, let's look at one of the initiatives that the government has introduced, Sausanschäbli, the so-called blue card, which is supposed to attract qualified and skilled labor to Germany. The only thing, if you will, you have to prove is that you have an offer, a job offer that gets you a salary of at least 45,000 euros. What do you make of this?
I think the initiative and this approach, I mean, there is a law that has been launched actually last year to attract these people. I think it's a very important step. And when you look at the figures, the government thought that 3,600 people would be applying for a job until now. And it's even more, it's 4,000. Despite the fact that 2/3 of these 4,000 are people living in Berlin already. So it's student graduates actually who applied for the blue card. And it's very important. I always wondered why Germany would not use the potential of students studying in Germany and doing their graduation in Germany and then letting them go back. I mean, it's so much money and energy you spend on these people, and I think it's so important that we've now realized that these people, you will use them, you need them, and they will be a great factor when it comes to prosperity or sustaining the prosperity that we have in Germany and the economy.
Katarzyna Sochlosa, you're very eager to jump in here.
Yeah, because you mentioned very important problem, yes? Yeah. And this is what I noticed in my life and during my studies and analyzing the situation. The German state first wastes a lot of money to give education to young people, yes, for the study, for PhD. But after that, they send more of them or to other countries. And this is the problem, yes? This is what we don't notice in other countries. Other countries, first, they give, yes, money, waste money to give education to young people, and after that, in 99%, they stay. Yes, they still have the possibility.
That was ridiculous, but we've changed it.
Yeah. So. And the blue card you mentioned, it's the possibility for people who are already here. Yes,
no, not only. It's also for highly skilled workers from abroad, from all over the world. Actually, right. They can come if they can show that they would get an income of 45,000 euros.
Yes, the problem is that they first have to find such a job. It means they should have the possibility first to come without nothing, without this 25,000 euro, and to show they want to learn, they want to get something, and after that, get the possibility to...
That's not the problem. I mean, we need special workers in mathematics, natural scientists, engineers, whatever. Germany needs these people. So it's not a matter of not finding a job then. If they have the qualification, they will get a job. And 45,000 euros is nothing, actually. It's easy for them. It's only...
Well, in Berlin, it's quite something.
But the problem is not the 45,000 euros. The problem is the language. Can you attract people from India, from China, whatever, to learn the German language? It's very difficult. They would rather go to Great Britain, whatever, to the United States. So I don't think this is the problem, right?
And indeed, Ursula Weidenfeld, Sausanschäbli mentioned an important point. Germany is not succeeding in attracting the high numbers of qualified labor, yet at least. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think that it is a problem with the language. You are completely right. It is a problem with the welcoming culture. And I think the main entrance for foreigners at the time is to work in a multinational company and then to come to Germany and being able to show you the 45,000 euros and just come in then. But it is not the case that everybody knows Germany is looking for highly skilled people. It is not the case that everybody knows Germany. In Germany there are some people, at least some people, who speak English and who will be able to communicate with whoever comes. So I think it is an image problem, which, to my mind, just seems to be easing. If you look at the Europeans coming to Germany, they just recognize Germany is not as cold as not speaking anything everybody can understand. It is not as dark as everybody thinks. So I think it is easing in terms of Europe, and probably takes some years just to become familiar that Germany is something like a welcoming place to live and to work.
No, I do agree with you, actually. I've seen these changes, and when you go to other places, when you travel around the world, you will see that there is a difference in the way they see Germany now compared to 10 years before. Now Germany, like the championship that we had here, Germany showed that it's welcoming people, that it's open, and there is something changing in the mentality. I won't talk about Turkey or Arab countries. They're looking very closely what is going on in Germany when it comes to German attitude towards, or the German behavior. When it comes to Turkish and Arab immigration. But when you go to other countries in the world, when you go to Asia, for example, Germany has a very, very positive image.
Katarzyna, you seem to think that these measures are too little too late. Is that my understanding?
I always analyze and compare the numbers, compare Germany with other European countries, and I have to say, Germany is too late. It's like Northern European countries 20 years ago, perhaps. And what you say,
they don't even go to France.
There's still a division.
Have the same problem.
What you mentioned, division in good immigrants, yes, from Poland, Czech Republic, in the other immigrants. You mentioned, I don't talking about Turkish. But why? We don't have this division in Scandinavian countries. We have the division in high qualified immigrants and not so well-qualified immigrants, but not the division in nations. You know, it's not good to say it is good immigrants from other countries.
I was just portraying the situation. I'm not in favor of dividing, like this is a good migrant, this is a bad migrant. Definitely not. I mean, I have an Arab migrant background, so I know the problems that we face in Germany with Arabs, like viewed as terrorists and less educated, whatever, being a burden to society. I know that. I mean, this is really a challenge and a problem that we have to face and we have to deal with, especially when you look at the younger generation of very educated young Arabs and Turks or students with a Turkish migrant background, very eloquent, educated. And we need these people, and still we don't see this. We don't see that there's a third generation coming that is needed in Germany. It's a waste if you don't give them the same opportunities as.
And Ursula Weidenfeld, the Euro crisis, which has now been lingering for over 2 years, has led to a new wave of immigrants to Germany, hasn't it?
Yes, it has. But we don't count them as immigrants, because if people from Spain or from Greece just decide to move to Germany, they wouldn't appear in any statistics as immigrants. They are just European citizens working in Germany and living in Germany for time or for life. That's not a case of statistic. It's not a problem. It is only a problem for people from Bulgaria and Romania, who are not allowed to move freely to Germany for 1 more year. They will be allowed at the 1st of January 2014. But I think that most Europeans wouldn't see Germany as a strange place where you are not welcome, where you shouldn't work. I think the opposite is the case. If you look at Berlin, it is quite funny. There's a high unemployment. There's not so much chances to get a job if you come to Berlin. But everybody comes to Berlin to try to find a job here. That's completely, it's strange.
And indeed, not only Berlin, but Germany in general has seen a very new wave of immigration as of late due to the Euro crisis, as has been already mentioned. People from Greece, from Italy and from Spain, mainly from those countries where youth unemployment is very high. Let's have a look at one of those examples.
Rosanna Cosolino is a recent arrival in Germany. She studied biochemistry in her native Italy but couldn't find a job, no matter how hard she tried. After being unemployed for 1.5 years, she decided to make the move to Germany. Her boyfriend came with her, but she had to leave behind her friends and family. One of the biggest hurdles to overcome is getting her head around the German language.
It's important to learn German, not only to find a job, but to understand people, like your boss. I want to feel a part of society, so I started learning as soon as I arrived.
Thousands of other talented people like Rosanna Cosolino are willing to pack their bags and head to Germany. But is Germany doing enough to encourage them and keep hold of them?
Well, Katarzyna Stoklosa, the question, is Germany doing enough? I get a feeling that I know the answer already, but please.
Yes, and you're right. My answer is no, Germany is not doing enough. It's only like to give an impression, to do something, to give the possibility to study German, to give the possibility to get a good job. But it's only an impression, yes? And when we analyze the situation, people coming to Germany first, they have to look themselves for a possibility to learn German. And there are some German lessons, but only few ones. When you compare in Denmark, people arriving into Denmark, in the first 2 weeks, they assign for Danish lessons 40 hours per week. And Danish state pays for this. And after half a year, they have people talking Danish without problem that are prepared, qualified for the Danish labor market. We don't have the situation in Germany. Only few lessons, 2 or 3 lessons now, that the immigrants are allowed to learn, and other they have to manage and to pay themselves. It's not really preparation.
So essentially, do we need more Danish, the Danish approach to Germany?
Well, the Danish approach is good, but I think the German approach is good as well. So I don't think we don't have these classes. We do have lots of offers. The problem is a communication problem, that people don't know where to go in order to get these lessons. The German government and the federal states needs to put more money into marketing and communicating their policy regarding integration and immigration issues. That's
but why
the point.
Don't we have this communication problem in northern countries? People know where do they have to go?
My brothers and I have a great family living in Scandinavia, and Denmark has its problems too. It's better. It's getting better again, but they have problems like with migrants, language problems, and also social, that they live on social aid and so on and so forth. So every country has its own challenges.
I think if you look at the right-wing political movements in Northern Europe, you will recognize that there is but you recognize that there is problems too. Yeah. And I think Germany could do better in terms of integration, of just providing language lessons for everybody and doing things like this, having something like a one-stop agency for strangers who want to come to Germany and to work in Germany. But I think you have to admit that there had been some progress in the last years.
And indeed, Ursula Weidenfeld, there seems to be a confusion sometimes in Germany because we have 2 separate debates lumped into one. No, we have the integration debate about how to integrate those who are already here, and the immigration debate, the need for qualified labor in Germany.
I think we have 3 debates. We have the debate about refugees too, who want to come and who need to come to Europe to just live in security and to live with their respected rights. So it is 3 debates we have. We have the integration debate, we have the migration debate, and we have the debate about what to do with refugees who come to Germany, who come to Europe, and who have the right to live here until they can return safely to their home countries.
And would you say that politicians are successful in separating those 3 debates?
Well, I would say they make progress in it, because they nowadays know it is not an option to leave people where they are, to leave them just living in an unskilled and uneducated situation in Germany. That would be a completely failure of what we just expect our state to do and to provide for his citizens.
Sausan Schäble, you've been wanting to jump in?
Yes, I still feel that, as I said in the beginning, that the majority of Germans still feel that everybody who's coming in is a burden. Everybody who's coming in wants to get our jobs. It's us who will have these jobs. It's for the Germans. I still feel that really there is a great difference between. I mean, I'm working in the ministry, and I know that they really want to. They're serious about this, getting people from abroad, and because they know we need these people. But when I talk to Germans, the first thing that I hear is, well, yes, but we have our people. Why do we need all these people from abroad to come here to take our jobs? And then the refugee problem. I don't think the refugee problem, integration problem, highly skilled workers. It's all put in one. What do you say? Basket, and they don't separate it. We still. I mean, maybe we've done some progress. Maybe you're right, but still, we need some time.
But I think if you look at, for example, pupils who are origin German and who are just have a migration background, you will always see that the pupils with a migration background do better than the original Germans do, who are who come from elder.
It's very typical.
How the media portrays these people. The media is still behind this. I mean, the media still does not see that.
If you look at reality, you will see that people with a migration background normally do better in schools.
Because they have to. Because they have to. And this is a problem. Yeah. They have to show we are working very hardly. But, you know, this feeling that's that they have to. Isn't it? Yeah, but, you know, again, in comparison, when you compare in other countries, these people, they are there like... And at the beginning of my studies, my work in Denmark, I always ask, oh, you speak so perfect Danish, how it's possible after 1 year or 2 years? Yeah, it's normal, yes. And they have this feeling, and after 10 years, it's something, something obvious. They do it. And in Germany, you still have to listen to your compliments after 20 years. Oh, your German is so perfect. Of course. I live here, yes.
The problem that we have is that too many people with a migrant background, when they have graduated from German universities, think of leaving Germany because of the fact that they feel there is some discrimination here, that they cannot have equal opportunities with others. They can't compete when it comes to quality. They're good, but they have problems. We still have discrimination in the labor market, so it's a challenge.
And Ursula Weidenfeld, Sausan Schäble criticized, if I understand you correctly, the media coverage of how German media is reporting on this issue. What would you say?
Well, I think you're right. There are some cliches in the market which are quite hard to fight. But I think that even there is something like an evolution of reality and just coping with it and seeing that the German problem is the integration of people who don't have educated parents, who don't know that it is very important to go to school, to be successful at school. That is the problem, but this is a problem of native Germans as well as some groups of migrants. So I think there is not a big difference. You could see, and even you could recognize if you look at the media or at the energy of politicians put in that issue.
And let's look at the numbers here. Germany right now has 60 million people with a so-called migrant background, which means 1 in 5 living in Germany are stemming from a migrant family. Have we in Germany wasted too much time deciding whether Germany is an immigrant country or not?
Yes, of course we did. We wasted time. I think it had a lot to do with our view on ourselves, just to not knowing who we are. Are we an immigration country?
We still don't know.
We still don't know. But
is Germany a nation of
yes, of course it is.
immigrants?
Yeah.
Well, people are going out. I mean, people are leaving the country, so it's...
But that's okay. I think it is okay to have people leaving the country to go to the northern European countries to work there in hospitals, wherever, and to come back or not to come back. That's normality in a Europe which is not divided in nations, which have borders and just make people to stay within the borders. That is normality, and for me, it would be fine to have people to go and to come back, or to stay there, and others to move to Germany.
Mr. Kloster, you live in Denmark, as has been mentioned. What is the view from outside? What is the perception about of how Germany deals with immigration from abroad?
You know, Northern European people are very polite, and this is why they don't criticize so directly. As German people do when they analyze other countries. But really, when I listen to Danish news and read Danish newspapers about immigration in Germany, it's always very polite, political correct, with numbers and analysis. And there's no direct criticism. Also, Northern European citizens don't say, our model is the best one. And this is what I like, you know. They let other people analyze the situation. But what they do, they act, they give the best possibilities, and let other people to analyze it and criticize and to say whether it's the best border or not.
And Sausan Shibli, I was asking about the perception of Germany abroad, because in Germany, as of late, we've had a rather poisonous immigration debate, haven't we? A book came out by an author, Thilo Sarrazin, who basically accused immigrants of dragging down Germany, and this book has resonated and also made waves abroad. Do you think those kind of debates keep qualified labor away from Germany?
I doubt it, actually. I don't think that people from India follow our debates on Sarrazin. Actually, I really doubt it. But still, I mean, it's a problem of, you mentioned the welcoming culture. Of course, this is something that people notice. This is something that people see. Germany still's got to fight for being having a welcoming culture. As I said, because of the German majority has a problem with these people coming from abroad. But still, when you looking back to history, it's only in 2000 that we launched actually a law or formulated an immigration law. So it's only a decade ago that we started to see that this is an issue, that this is a challenge. So it's more than 10 years, 13 years, and we've done a lot in these 13 years. Give us another 10 years and we'll be much better.
Well, in 10 years we'll meet again here to evaluate the developments. But to be more specific, you said Germany is lacking somewhat in the so-called welcoming culture. If it were up to you, if you were at the helm, what would you include and what would you implement specifically? How could Germany improve its welcoming culture?
Yes. Well, yes, this is a very, very hard question. I mean, what I do is to always say that diversity is an asset. I speak to people and tell them, look at me, look at these young people. You will need them. I mean, I try to work with role models, for example. Wherever I go, I put these role models and say, look, this is Germany. This is Germany this is Germany's future. And yeah, well, you have to work more on underlining the positive examples and not focusing on what is going on in a negative way. This is something that I do, for example.
Now, Ursula Weidenfeld, the one field where Germans have indeed come to embrace diversity is on the football pitch. No, if you look at the national football team, the squad, the starting 11 is filled with players with a migrant background.
And I think that was a very wise campaign to just stress that very many of people who are extremely successful, not only in sports, but even in economy or in sciences, have a migrant background. And I think that was quite successful, and that was good for everybody to see. And I think you have to, everybody has to admit that Germany could do better. But on the other hand, Germany is nearly the only European country which has not a significant right-wing party or right-wing movement.
It's because of our history.
It's because of our history.
But Germany will never let this happen again, so it's different.
That's good news.
Absolutely,
and that's
yeah.
good news for people who come to Germany and to feel that they probably feel that there is not a welcoming culture they would they would like and they would expect us to have. But the good news is that Germans, because of their history and because of the experiences they made in the 20th century, are very, very cautious in expressing xenophobic issues in political parties, in political movements.
Still too many people read Sarrazin and follow his thesis. So there is a problem. We still have this problem. But we still have a great gap between the political establishment and their consciences when it comes to right-wing extremism and what's going on in the population. Still too many people have these prejudices in their minds. I mean, I talk a lot about...
But the good thing about the Sarrazin book was that people began to talk integration. They began to talk about what should schools provide.
Before. It was not Sarrazin who made us talk about integration.
But that was a new energy for that.
Oh, yes.
And of course the question is also how this debate was laid. Was it actually beneficial or not? Mr. Klose.
This debate on the basis of a Sarrazin book was, in my opinion, not really good to start the debate about immigration into Germany. This debate about Germany as an immigration, non-immigration country wasn't good, yes, because when we analyze the historical development of Germany and historical development of immigration, this is just a fact. That Germany is an immigration country. So the problem is how to manage, how to do the best, and not the question whether is it or isn't, yes? And now, of course, the newest development, Germany is immigration country, but 5 years ago it wasn't an immigration country, and it was a problem of the Sarrazin book to question this fact, yes? It's something very, very obvious. And interesting, your critical opinion about normal citizens, and you live in Berlin, you talk to people in Berlin.
Well,
you can imagine in the province.
I travel around a lot, so I know what's going on. And Berlin is multi-ethnical, it's very open, and you cannot compare it to other cities in Germany, of course. Well,
I think you find in all the bigger cities, you find this atmosphere of being not only blonde and white and white skin. So I think that is, you will find that in every bigger town in Germany, at least. You will have some problems at the countryside, especially in Eastern Germany. But I think it is an issue, but it is not something which characterizes Germany, that it is xenophobic, that it is only Berlin where you can live as an immigrant.
And Germany's vice chancellor, for that matter, is someone who's of Vietnamese.
He's not an immigrant.
He's not an immigrant, but he's of Vietnamese descent. The party leader of the Green Party, he's of Turkish descent. Do you think we need more of these role models, if you will, to change the mentality?
Yes, definitely. You need more people in the first row in order to show that a German can be like me. I mean, you don't need to have blue eyes and blonde hair in order to be German, and you can only portray this image if you have these people in the first row. But I do agree with you. I mean, I'm skeptical on when people say that whoever has a negative attitude towards immigrants is racist. I would not underline this, because I always try to talk to people and I always try to understand why does this person has this opinion? I mean, what experiences had he made in his life in order to have this position? And that's why I'm very skeptical when it comes to studies portraying a very, very negative image on Germans being all racist, whatever, 70%. You always have to talk to people in order to build a bridge and to confront prejudices and not to proclaim everybody as racist. And also when it comes to the other side, you have to talk to each other and get to know each other better. That helps.
Katarzyna Stoklosa, we are slowly running out of time, but I do want to wrap up by asking you, how do you think, or what does Germany need to do in order to improve its approach vis-à-vis immigration?
In my opinion, Germany has to be more critical, to analyze more, and not to be afraid to take positive examples from other countries. Not to say, we have done a positive approach and some good steps, but to say, okay, this and this country is better. Let us take this example, this positive example. So Germany has to be more open-minded and more critical with Germany as a country.
Would you agree, Ursula Weidenfeld?
I think you're completely right. Germany has to learn a lot, and it will learn a lot.
Sausan Shebli, your take on the immigration debate. What does Germany need to do in order to attract these at least 2 million skilled workers it needs to maintain its labor force?
As I said, work on its welcoming culture, communicate better that it's open, that it wants and it needs these people, and show more role models in the first row.
And are you optimistic as far as the future of Germany is concerned?
I am, because it's an urgent need, and you won't survive, you won't be able to compete without being serious on this.
Are you optimistic, Ursula Weidenfeld?
Yes, I think so. I think if the labor market continues to do as well as it does at the time, it should be not a big problem to just be more welcoming and to integrate people. The tipping point will be what is when the labor market turns in a negative direction. What is happening then? And that will be, then Germany has to prove that it is an immigration country, that it is welcoming, and that it had learned something from the Northern European countries.
Well, indeed, we are ending on an optimistic note, and I think one thing is for certain: European Union's most populous nation, the change of Europe's most populous nation will change in the future. I want to thank my guests for sharing their insights, and I want to thank you out there for tuning in. Looking forward to seeing you again next week for a new edition of Quadriga.